Hi, I'm Emma Harrison. When people think of a stately home, visions of manicured gardens, grand interiors and a crack household staff led by a butler come to mind. Traditionally, the image of the butler is one of a stiff, unfeeling, ancient gentleman who just happened to have committed the murder on the estate. But in today's high-tech jet-set gotta-have-it-now world, the life of a butler is not what it used to be. For one thing, we call them household managers. For another, the extent of their education and range of expertise is mind-boggling, and nothing short of perfection will suffice. Serving the wealthy and powerful who shape today's world requires one who can perform technical skills, manage a staff, and provide flawless personal service. Where does one find such a person? Here at Starkey International Institute, the preeminent bootcamp of household management training in the United States. Welcome to Butler Bootcamp.
What'll happen then, once they're done with that?
Let's meet the students who are striving to be the best of the best. That's our group of household managers in training. The first step on the path to realising the dream is articulating the dream. Butler Bootcamp is about much more than simply polishing silver.
At Starkey, we have to work on a vision statement, and we have to come up with, in our own imagination, we have to create the perfect home for us. I picked a 60-acre estate in Northern California, and the main house was around 8,000 square feet, and there were animals on the property, and I want dogs and cats in the house.
I'm very hopeful, and I'm looking forward to my new career. I'm hoping to get placed soon. This summer would be fabulous, and ideally I'd like to move back to California.
I actually work for a gentleman at the moment who actually, it was his actual idea to send me to school. So employment I'm taking care of at the moment. I'm already going to establish what I've learned here and put it into action when I get back there.
I see myself, I can work any place. I mean, because I am the open mind. As I told you before, I like to see the world. I like to travel. So for me, it doesn't matter. Even it's gonna be Alaska, it's be in Hawaii, and for me, it just doesn't matter.
We want to manage multiple homes. We want to be dealing with more complicated and sophisticated situations because we're used to doing complex project management. We're used to, Mrs. Harding has managed a 65,000 square foot facility. So she knows how to do very complex tasks and manage a number of people. I've managed up to 1,000 folks, and so I know how to manage a large staff and motivate different types of people.
When people heard I was going to come and do this Butler Bootcamp, my friends would ask, well, you know, where do you want to end up? And I said, well, I'd like to work for Keith Richards.
Typically, when you go into a household manager is barraged with all kinds of different ways and how-tos and levels and kinds and etc. So we divided them into 10 different categories. They are administrative, cleaning, cooking, clothing, entertaining, property and grounds, maintenance, security, transportation and travel, and then either elder care, child care, pet care, and of course guest care.
There are numerous technical skills the students need to learn and apply. It's incredibly intense. Let's watch as they run the gauntlet.
For this part of it, what we're going to do is we're going to go through the world of fine cigars.
But today we're going to talk about handwriting analysis.
Over here we have Denby, which is an English company, been around for a long time. Wonderful product for active families.
We have a methodical, somebody who takes their time to come up with information and data. If you look at his handwriting, what are the predominant things that show up?
And you don't want your flame too hot.
This is Royal Copenhagen, which is a Danish company, and this pattern was only made for kings and queens. For years, nobody could buy it.
Nice gentle puffs.
Okay, now I know what your strengths and weaknesses are and where I can go to try and make things work. You're subtly argumentative. Very strong opinions.
No, I'm not.
And if you were to enjoy a nice cognac or a very nice brandy, you would see that all the flavors, there's a party going on in your mouth. It's a dance in your mouth.
And on this end of the store, we have Willery & Bock, which is a German company. You can mix different things together, 4 different dinner plates, 4 different salad plates. It all intermixes and works together.
You tend to be more of a person who's a pessimist that says, things are going to work out okay, but we better have a couple of plans just in case. Would that be accurate?
Oh, that's dead on the money.
You also are a list maker. You have your...
This is scary. This is scary.
If we have a champagne, a true champagne, what region does it come from in France?
Champagne region.
And do you remember we talked a little bit about how to open? You can do it one of 2 ways. You can actually loosen the cage and take it off completely, getting your thumb over the top, or you can very slowly loosen it and turning the bottle. This is a Blanc de Noir. Do we remember what the Blanc de Noir is? White from black. This is a white wine made from the black grape.
I thought I knew most of the things taking place in the service industry. But I was wrong when I get in the first day and the first week in class. It was sophisticated and delightful. It's really amazing things.
The best caviars, of course, come from the sturgeon. The fish has been around for probably over 120 million years. It's one of the few fish that dates back.
I feel comfortable in a home, and I feel comfortable nurturing people. And I feel blessed that I've found my path. For the last 10 years, I've been trying different things. I've been a flight attendant and a nanny and an interior design student, and I've excelled at everything I've done, but I've still been searching for where I could really use my service heart, and I feel like this is the right path for me.
How do you teach what the relationship of service really is?
The relationship of service comes about in a person really understanding that they have to work on someone else's agenda. Service has to be a relationship between a giver and a receiver. And both sides have a part to play or a role to play. The receiver has to know what they want. Giver has to be a resource of possibilities, and position themselves to be of service really means making those possibilities available. The term service heart came about because I had to find a word, a concept, to describe what we all saw. Almost everyone comes to the table saying, I want to make a difference. I'm tired of pushing paper. I'm tired of not having anything of substance in my everyday work. I want to be somewhere that has excitement to it and somewhere where I can make a difference in somebody's life. That's what they all say. That's a service heart.
So, formal dinner for 12. Tell me a bit about your preparations.
Well, the preparations will start at least 2 weeks in advance and actually, planning the menu, checking seasonality, then having the menu approved by both the madam and the host and hostess. Then the phone calls start to find out for dietary restrictions, people who are vegetarian. Then you make all your changes, choose your wines. At this point, we're in a little pause. We've already got our first course plate set out, the stove is hot, and we're just waiting for showtime. About 3 minutes. Take that pitcher over there, and I want you to get the water as hot as possible. Then by the time it sets, it'll be tepid. Would you grab the scissors and run out and clip some more chives out of the garden for me, please? All I'm doing is just preparing parts of the hors d'oeuvre that'll be assembled a la minute when guests arrive. So we get all of our pieces, and then as we get closer to guest time, we'll assemble.
I'm reducing wine and shallots and little peppercorns for a beurre blanc sauce. You reduce the wine down to till it's syrupy, and then you add butter, butter emulsion sauce called beurre blanc.
Call it the ballet of service. And the highest form of service that takes place anywhere takes place at a formal table. Why? Because everything is choreographed. Everything is put into place. The guests can do whatever they want because it's their moment. But